All right, guys, just a quick introduction to logarithmic form. Um, logarithmic form. So all that logarithmic form is really the inverse of exponential form. It's just writing it, from one way to another. So you guys are used to saying that b is the base, right? X is the exponent, and b to the x power equals something, right? So when we change that into log form, all that we are saying, the way that we're writing it, is we write our base down here, log base b of y equals x. So it's just kind of the opposite way of saying it, and we're going to use it to solve equations. But basically, you would just look at it as, again, still b to the x power equals y. Okay, so kind of just get in the habit of doing that. So by way of example, let's just do a couple of quick examples here. If we are going to go from log form to exponent form, then when we have log base 5 of 125 equals 3, we can rewrite that as, this is our base, 5 to the third power equals 125. 5 to the third power equals 125. Okay, so that's going that direction. We can do the same thing the other way, going from exponent form to log form. We would have, if we had written 2 to the fourth power equals 16. Okay, you guys know what that means, right? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 16. Well, in log form, we would just write log base 2, remember that's our base, log base 2 of 16 equals 4, because our exponent always goes last. So you can check yourself to say 2 to the fourth power equals 16. All right. So those are your examples of how to go back and forth between those. It's probably worthwhile to do one that has a fraction, because you may recall that, let's look at it this way. Log base 3 of 181 equals what? Well, what do? We put that into exponential form. 3 to the y power equals 1 over 81, and then we have to think about, well, what would I have to do? What would my exponent have to be? Well, remember, if we're putting something in the basement, that means we have a negative exponent, okay? So this has to be negative. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. So we know it's going to be to the fourth power, and in this case, it's got to be negative. So we would see that 3 to the negative fourth power equals 1 over 81. Therefore, y equals negative 4. So that's how you evaluate a log, is you put it into exponential form and then figure out what y is. So another example would be log base 2 equals 8. So what is the exponent? Well, we have to change it to exponential form. 2 to the y power equals 8. 2 to the y power equals 8. Okay, well, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Therefore, y equals 3. Okay, so there's a few simple examples. Some you're going to have to think a little bit harder for, but give it a shot.